Oh my God, Ace Bailey is refusing to work out for the Sixers, canceling all of his visits, canceling the dinner plans, canceling the hotel and the tour of Philadelphia with the big bus because the duck boats went away. What are we going to do? I'll tell you what we do, Philadelphia. We draft the kid. Tough shit. That's what it means. It means you draft the kid. Because history is littered with examples of players that don't want to go to a city, end up going to the city, end up loving the city. I mean, Jim Kelly, and this was 40 years ago, but Jim Kelly went to an entire other league to avoid Buffalo. He's beloved in Buffalo. More recently, you've got cases of guys that have tried to, finagle their way to certain locations and end up enjoying the spot where they land. And I think one of the issues with this story breaking is that the last time we had heard of a player who was canceling workouts with the Sixers or going to extreme lengths to not work out for the Sixers was Kristaps Porzingis during the heyday of the process. And Kristaps is famous for faking an illness, literally standing next to a toilet and splashing water to make it seem like he was throwing up. And this was all orchestrated by his agent, who didn't want him going to Philadelphia at the time because the agent and a lot of the NBA viewed Philadelphia as a dumpster fire. And you didn't want your client going to a dumpster fire. While Sixers fans view the Philadelphia 76ers organization as a dumpster fire, I don't believe that the agents in the NBA views Daryl Morey as a dumpster fire. With that said, there are some red flags. Let's go through it. The James Harden situation is a red flag. Because when you have a player coming out publicly over and over again saying, Daryl Morey is a liar and I will not play for that guy, it's a red flag. It's a red flag to not only fans, but it's a red flag to players in the NBA as to what Daryl Morey says versus what he does, whether or not he's truly a liar. I mean, it's no doubt that James Harden is going around NBA locker rooms and telling people that Daryl Morey is in fact a liar. Then you've got the Patrick Beverley situation, which was not only his side of the story, but also corroborated by, I think, Marcus Morris, who claimed that he was right there when he heard Daryl Morey tell Patrick Beverley, I'm not trading you, and a day later he was off to Milwaukee. That is a red flag. Because now you've got a GM who will tell you one thing, but he's on record as doing the exact opposite and having really no care at all about whether or not a player and his feelings are hurt. With that said, that's just about every NBA GM, I truly believe. Like, at the end of the day, you can say, I'm not going to trade you, but if you were offered something of substantial value, you are going to trade that player. It doesn't matter. Not everybody is going to be Larry Brown when it comes to keeping a promise, which is ironic because we rip Larry Brown for keeping said promise with Larry Hughes in the draft when Paul Pierce is sitting there. How do you not just go back on your promise? So you can't really have it both ways. I think Daryl Morey, in the way that he's handled it, like, did the Sixers benefit from trading Patrick Beverley and getting, oh God, I can picture him. Cam Payne. Hit the thumbs down for that. It took way too long for me to remember. I knew it was Cam or something. Cam Payne in a second round pick. I don't think it was that big of a swing, and obviously they ended up losing in the first round anyway, so it didn't really matter at the end of the day. But that's an example of, like, hey, Daryl, you told the guy you weren't going to trade him. I know you're getting offered a second round pick in Cam Payne, but, like, at the end of the day, is that really going to matter? I don't know. Maybe this is why I'm not a GM. The point of this whole video, though, is to say it doesn't matter what Ace Bailey wants. It doesn't. Because Ace Bailey is likely to be there at pick number 3. And the Sixers have pick number 3. So I don't really care what a 19-year-old kid wants or where he wants to go or whatnot. Like, do you think Zion Williamson wanted to go to New Orleans? Doubtful. He ended up in New Orleans. You think Cooper Flagg wants to go to San Antonio, Texas? Doubtful. Guess where he's going? Like, it doesn't matter where these kids want to go. Because they're 19, they don't know any better. They're being pushed in a direction by an agent, which is fine. Maybe this is something to do with the fact that he wanted promises, certain reassurances that I will be drafted number 3. And the Sixers obviously aren't going to give that because, by all accounts, it's kind of a 2-player draft. He's like the 2A, if you will. Like, he's on, like, if you want to say it's a 3-player draft, that's fine. But he's got a lot of questions about his game. But if he wanted assurances the Sixers didn't want to give him, okay, good. Like, I don't want to give this kid assurances, and then all of a sudden you fall in love with somebody else, and then you don't end up taking this kid, and it sullies your relationship with the agent who's been basically telling all of his clients, yeah, he's going 3. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with you not giving assurances to a kid during a workout. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that he heard that VJ Edgecombe's workout wasn't great. Like, I was told he had a really bad shooting performance during that workout. So if you're sitting there and you're him and you're like, all right, well, what's the point of working out anyway? You know, my main competition in Edgecombe, I already had a bad workout. How am I going to improve myself during my workout? They know what I can do. They have the tape. If me and Edgecombe were 1A, 1B, and he has a bad workout, well, now it's just 1, right? So maybe it had something to do with it. At the end of the day, I don't really care, and I'm not concerned about it at all. This isn't a player asking to be traded. This isn't a player saying that he won't play for Philadelphia, which, by the way, even if he does, he still has to play for Philadelphia. Like, we've seen agents go through extreme lengths. You heard about Kobe's agent setting up a meeting with Kerry Kittles, you know, like a dinner with the agent or the GM at the time of the Nets, and telling the GM at the time of the Nets, like, hey, like, Kobe will go play in Italy, which was never going to happen. You know, I mean, agents will use their devices to steer a player a certain direction. Once again, while we view the Sixers as kind of a dumpster fire, I don't think an NBA agent is going to view them like that, not only from the front office standpoint, but also look at the situation. He's 19 years old. So in 3 years, when that Paul George contract is up, he's going to be 22 years old. He's not going to be an old man. He should be 22. That's a great situation. Most people are coming out of college at 22. He's going to be in his 3rd year in the NBA. I think this is a good situation for any rookie to step into because of the fact that the pressure is not going to be on you right away because they kind of already have their course set up. But we'll see. Who do you guys think the Sixers should draft at 3? Let me know in the comment section. You guys know where the buttons are. The subscribing is the most important. You know, like it, dislike it, whatever. I'm going to go because as soon as I started recording this, like, it started monsooning outside and now my dog is terrified. So I'm going to go comfort him.